The Reawakening, Chapter 1. With a golden brown puppy secure in his arms, 13-year-old Daniel Glenn joined Beth and the others in the ghost-busting van. Not that the grown-ups liked any of their stuff being referred to as ghost-busting, especially Melissa. Melissa was secretary of the ghost-busting team, or rather, the Psychic Study Society, and this wasn't a ghost-busting van at all. It was a specially converted Volkswagen Transporter, equipped with all the latest mobile psychic phenomena detecting equipment, with seating for 5 passengers and 1 puppy named Scooby. Daniel turned briefly and waggled the puppy's paw in the direction of his mum, who was standing at the front door waiting to wave goodbye to him, his dad and the others. Dad was Andrew Glenn, chairman of the Psychic Study Society, or PSS, and he was in the front seat next to Melissa. She was squeezed next to Len Moran, driver-owner of the ghost-busting van. Len's normal job when he wasn't chasing ghosts was as a builder. He was a big muscle guy who didn't look like the sort to believe in ghosts at all. Although actually, neither did Daniel's dad, who was a police sergeant in his day job. Melissa looked batty enough though. Melissa Iona Isis, if that was her real name. Daniel thought she'd probably made it up to go with her profession as a herbalist and ghostbuster. Len put the van into gear and everyone waved to Daniel's mum as they set off for the Highlands of Scotland in search of a ghostly saber-toothed tiger and some ancient battling warriors. At least, that was the grown-ups' reason for this trip. As for Daniel, it was a great way to spend the week of the summer holiday. He and Scooby were going to have a fantastic time. Len's daughter Beth had come along for the trip too. She'd just had her 11th birthday and was starting at Daniel's school in September. Her eyes lit up at the sight of the puppy. "Oh, how gorgeous! What's its name?" "Scooby. She's only 4 months old and already sits and gives you a paw. You're a clever girl, aren't you, Scooby?" After licking Daniel on the nose, the puppy decided to investigate the other passengers and nuzzled excitedly into Melissa's mop of tousled grey-black hair, possibly in search of a dangly earring. Daniel dragged her back, easing strands of hair from the pup's mouth as Melissa's face screwed itself up in pain. "Sorry, she's just a bit excited," Daniel apologised. "A puppy," Melissa wailed, throwing her hands up in despair so that all her bracelets tinkled and the rings on her fingers caught the sunlight. "Andrew, it's hardly a good idea bringing a puppy with us. It's going to be so distracting." Andrew Glenn spoke with his usual calm, authoritative voice. His policeman's voice was how Daniel's mum jokingly described it. "She'll be fine. She'll keep the kids occupied. Besides, it's good for them to get some fresh air and exercise." Melissa looked unconvinced. "And children too. Andrew, I told you I had reservations about bringing children along. I'm still concerned that they'll create too much of a disturbance. Children aren't renowned for keeping quiet or still." "The kids will be fine," Andrew assured her. "They promised to be on their best behaviour." He cast a warning glance over his shoulder. "Haven't you, Daniel?" "Of course," Daniel exclaimed innocently. "I'm going to be busy training Scooby anyway. I'll be teaching her to fetch and come and stay." "Yes, stay well out of the way," Melissa interrupted. "This is a serious field trip. I intend to write an article for the National Psychic Press about our findings. We need to be fully concentrated on this expedition." Behind her back, Daniel did an impression of Melissa's stern expression, making Beth giggle. Melissa took her ghost-busting activities very seriously. She was very sensitive to supernatural phenomena, or so he'd overheard his dad telling Mum one day. Daniel thought she was just peculiar. "I see our field trip made last night's Gazette, folks," Andrew remarked, showing Melissa a newspaper cutting. "It's actually not a bad write-up. For once we haven't been made to sound like a bunch of crackpots. Although the press have picked up on the saber-toothed tiger angle, rather than the main reason that we're going." "Well, we knew they would," said Len. "Saber-toothed tigers coming back to life is slightly more sensational than ghostly battle sounds being heard." With a wry smile on his face, he steered the van out onto the main road and headed along the northbound highway. "Anyway, what have they said?" "I'll read it, shall I?" Melissa suggested, adjusting her purple-tinted spectacles. Let's see. "A group of ghost hunters," she instantly tittered. How I detest that expression. "Andrew, I thought you said the article didn't make us sound like crackpots." "Just read it, Melissa," grinned Len. She tittered again before continuing. "A group of ghost hunters are heading for the Highlands of Scotland in search of a prehistoric beast thought to be roaming a Scottish valley. the Psychic Study Society is planning a field trip to coincide with the date that two ancient Highland clans fought a bloody battle in 1314. It was around this particular time last year that the beast, described as the ghost of a prehistoric saber-toothed tiger, was reported to have stalked and attacked two children camping with their parents. Andrew Glenn, chairman of the PSS, said, I'm quoting you now, Andrew, "This valley is reputed to be haunted. The signs of a battle have been reported on numerous occasions. Regarding the beast incident, I have interviewed the children involved and found their account of the whole event to be most convincing. We are intrigued by their encounter, and while it does seem highly unlikely that a prehistoric ghost could still be around, we are going in with open minds." Melissa glanced up from the newspaper cutting. End quote. Beth leaned towards her dad. "It didn't actually hurt those children, did it? I mean, it couldn't, could it? It was a ghost." "Of course not," Len laughed. "We'd hardly be bringing you kids if there was any danger, would we?" "I'll read on, shall I?" Melissa interrupted. "Now, where was I? Ah, yes. Members of the Psychic Study Society, which was founded 6 years ago, range from doctors to engineers. 3 of them will be setting off fully equipped with their latest ghost-busting devices, such as electromagnetic field detection meters, infrared motion sensors and ion detectors, which measure disturbances in the air when spirit energy is present. Mr. Glenn, who is a police sergeant in his day job, added, another quote from you now, Andrew, "We have state-of-the-art technology behind us. If there is anything supernatural hanging around the Valley of Shadows, then believe me, we will find it."